welcome to the Brookfield Select Board meeting for Wednesday, May 20th, 2026 at 7 p.m. It's 7:08. We're at the Brookfield Town Hall. This is a joint meeting with the Board of Assessors. Please stand for the pledge.
Are we being videotaped?
Oh yeah, it doesn't say this, but we're being videotaped and live streamed.
Good job.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And no comments, you're putting that on there too.
Yeah, there will be no public comments for tonight. No announcements. Somebody want to start?
I'll move that we move into executive session under exemption 1 to discuss the reputation, character, physical condition, mental health, rather than the professional competence of an individual, or discuss discipline or dismissal of or complaints or charges brought against a public official, officer, staff member, or individual, as well as executive session under 5 to investigate charges of criminal misconduct or considering the filing of criminal charges, and we will reconvene in open session.
Do we want, oh, I'm sorry, second. Sorry about that.
Roll call vote.
Coughlin, aye.
Chafee, aye.
Campbell abstain. We'll be
And,
back.
Do we want to do the number
She
5?
did. She read it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It did.
Yeah.
Hi. I'm sorry. I had something else on my mind and I was like zoned out for a minute. Sorry about
It
that.
happens.
It's hard. Okay, we're back. Number 2, appoint interim town administrator.
So I had a conversation with Blythe today. Went really well. She didn't know if she could get the job done in 2 days a week or 3 days a week, and I felt that if she was appointed, that I felt comfortable that she could kind of make her own hours, whether she thought the job required 2 days a week or 3 days a week or 3.5, but whatever she felt, whatever it would require, that she was able to give to the town.
Okay.
So, and I had a great conversation with her, and so much better than a Zoom meeting, because it was just one-on-one for probably 20, 25 minutes, and I felt pretty comfortable with her.
Okay, so I'll move that we appoint Blythe Robinson as the interim town administrator.
I'll second for discussion. So where do we stand with finances as far as, because I still have some reluctance on whether we hire a town administrator, the interim, and or we use the money that's in that budget to get us through to July 1.
There's $41,967 left in the town administrator line.
And
How much do you need of it, though?
Well,
We
that,
need as much,
Like for transfer, as much as possible,
as
right?
much as humanly possible.
well, I mean, do we have a balance of where we think we're landing and by account, what we're overspent and what we're not? I mean, I hear what you're saying, but, I mean, I could go back through I can go through the expenditure sheet and try to guess, but do you have line of sight on which accounts and how much?
I need probably $60,000 to finish funding the treasurer loan for the rest of the year.
where are we with town council?
We have $12,241 remaining. And we'd be a month behind in our bills. So probably about half of that.
Karen, the other day when I asked about it, you said there was an outstanding bill of 5,000 some odd. Did that get deducted from that 12, or?
I'm not sure about
Probably not, no.
So then we're probably around the 7,000 mark.
So we'll be short in that line too. We wouldn't have enough to fund June.
Do you know what we're gonna put for the warrant article yet for the for the 26 warrant article, or no?
If I don't get any more money to cover the treasurer line, I'm probably gonna be putting at least 60,000 to cover the treasurer line, and I just won't be able to pay her until after town meeting.
Are there any other accounts that are significantly in the red?
There were, the technology was, the accountant and finance director was, but the police department gave me the balance in their full-time wages of $90,000. So I was able to cover everything else, the health insurance, technology. I put some into the treasurer's line, just not enough. So it's really just the treasurer's line and potentially legal.
How are we making out at the highway? That was the only other one that I had questioned about. Is that,
Highway,
I actually have the numbers from them, and I just haven't done the math yet relative to what should have moved over to road reconstruction. So they provided the raw, it's not all the hours for all the people, it's actually, I need to get with you about it because I haven't built out the model after I asked them for the pay rates on the people. But they gave me a week by week of by name who was working at Gay Road and how much of their week was at Gay Road that could be moved over to the road reconstruction account.
do you have a rough number on that?
Give me a second.
well, highway hasn't paid a bill in a month, so they're obviously behind on bills. So we need enough, they don't have any money left to pay any bills. So they need enough expense money to cover the last month, so 3 months worth of bills.
I don't-
Whatever that may be.
Yeah, I don't think it would be a significant number. I don't see much, maybe gas for the mower, minimal stuff, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and then snow and ice we're gonna cover in the warrant articles. We have to this year.
Well, but that's every year, pretty much. I don't know
We've been
that's,
able to transfer for the last couple of years.
Mm.
We've done transfers, but this year we don't have any chance.
yeah. Let's see here, let me open it up. No, I need to, it's enough weeks of data that I can't even give you an estimate based on this right now. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually build it out the rest of the way, because I just have the raw. But it's, let's see here, what is that? It's about, how many weeks is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
What was that? Is someone not muted, Jacob? Oh, that was you?
Yep.
We all heard a small voice, couldn't figure out what it was.
Sorry.
I mean, just very rough order of magnitude, about 25,000. So. I've got the raw, I can build it out with the formulas and send it over to you, Lori.
Okay.
So, it's about 20, probably about between 25 and 30,000. I'm just doing ballpark, glancing at the numbers, so.
I mean, I guess I'd still like to wait, and I know that, however, I did talk to Blythe about the treasurer experience and the HR position. She said that she did fill in and did some HR work at one point, so if we're struggling there, I do think that would be a slight help, but I just don't know how much we need that, right? Like, I don't know if it's an hour a week or 10 hours a week. I don't know what that requirement is that we're lacking.
There's all kinds of aspects of that that is a challenge for us, especially with between the school and just coordination and oversight. I think the sooner we can get somebody in the role, the better, fundamentally. I mean, I go back to my start the week of town meeting, right? So it's 2
the
weeks
week
from now.
Yeah, or the week after.
Yeah,
It's only for the FY '26 budget, it's only gonna be the month of June.
Right,
If you make her start after June 1st, it's just gonna be the month of June.
right. So,
So if she works just 2 days a week,
right, and I still think it's good to start her, even if it's just so that she can attend town meeting as the town administrator, get a sense for what the will of the people is as well as ours, right? And have that familiarity from the get-go.
Well, having a conversation with her, I felt a lot more positive about it than prior to, so I will say that. So,
all right, any more discussion then?
so we're gonna go, so if she's hired, it would be the month of June, she would start June 1.
What's the first day of the week that week? I think it's June 1.
Oh,
Yeah,
Just
June
add
1
one
is the
thing.
Monday.
So that first week of June, we have the auditors on site every single day. So everyone here has a part in the audit, so I just scheduled with everybody for who they're meeting with and what day. So I just don't want to add to the chaos, just because the auditors have to be in and out in 4 days. And I already let them know that with the added chaos that we have town meeting that week too. So they're gonna have to meet with certain people, certain days, so like Karen, can get out at a certain time for that day of town meeting, so, just adding to all of that, so if that makes any difference. So like, I would have no time available for her that first week that she was here, because my one on-site day, I'll be with the auditor all day, the same as the treasurer's for.
Yeah, but she can come in and do stuff like get set up with her computer, review some of the files that we have on site. I mean, she wouldn't necessarily need you for certain aspects of it, correct?
I have no idea. I wouldn't have any time just because of,
Okay, well, Jacob, would you be available that week to get her set up with her computer and get her set with regards to IT access and file access and all of that?
Sure. What exact day?
June 1st?
Sure.
It's
So.
a Monday, I think.
Yep. it's
Yeah,
Monday, June
that's the
1st.
Monday, right? I mean, she can review anything that's in hot file, get what's sitting in our bullpen for our meetings, like, at that point. I think there's plenty of things that don't infringe on Lori that a person first coming into that role can do that week so that the following week they can actually get started. But, that's just my opinion. I would say starting on June 1, if nothing else, they can just read the backlog of email for the town administrator.
Yeah, I have access to it, but I only read what I can, so there's a ton of emails.
Right, and get a sense for what questions are out there, what's required, read the policy manual. It doesn't, I mean, doesn't even need to be on site for that, but she needs to come on site, get the computer access, start going through things like everything like the financial policies, the employee handbook, get familiar with the rules of the road, right? To be able to hit the ground running. I think all of that can happen that week and it doesn't require any attention from Lori. You know, I think there's a lot that can be done, right?
All right. Where are we putting it? Upstairs, downstairs, where do you? That way there, Jacob can get a computer ready ahead of time. Any thought on that?
I would say upstairs.
Yeah, that's, my gut says upstairs. Just need to
I
get
mean, I really like the open door policy, but I think it's a time sink for someone too, so.
It is, yeah. I mean, the level of interruption when you're working out of the closet down there is horrible, so.
Right.
And she's only gonna be here, you know, short term, so, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but that's what I would say.
Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 3, sign end of year transfers.
Did you want to tell her, Sarah, or did you want me to send her an email?
I will tell her. If I can remember. I'll have to text myself.
She was well aware of what's going on in Brookfield, so she probably knows. I let her know that we would be making a decision tonight.
All right, end of year transfers. Comments, questions, concerns? Thanks to the police department for giving up their $90,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge number.
Yeah.
What would we have done without that free cash? What
We
would
would have had to put it all on the warrant.
Yeah,
pretty
warrant.
much,
Yeah.
And everyone on there would have had to wait.
Yep.
Wow.
He said he may actually have more, but he's got to get the boiler fixed down there first. And he got a rough quote. He just wants to make sure the boiler gets fixed. He might have a little bit more, not much, but a little.
Okay.
Do we have any municipal repair accounts that could go to the boiler work or no? Okay. So,
All right.
Next year.
so we already reallocated the town hall improvement funds? We couldn't do a transfer from their budget? Or for one of your other shortfalls?
I did not reallocate town hall improvement money.
Because the only things we've done, the windows are going against the state money, and then the bell tower's going against the residual of the state money, unless
Yep.
we think there's a gap between the residual of the state money. So that's $12,000 there, isn't it, that we usually put in town hall improvement?
I thought it was 8, but I could be
No,
wrong.
I thought it was 14,500.
Oh,
I think it's 14.
Yeah,
Yeah,
14.5
Right now,
That was what was budgeted.
you have 10,116.
left, okay.
We'll
So,
get, we'll get the windows back though.
okay, have
I'll
we
do that-
submitted those?
No, I'll do that this week.
Okay,
So we can get that money back, and then as soon as the bell tower is done, I can put in to get that money back too.
So I can use the town hall improvement for other transfers. I can just put it towards what I need in treasurer wages. To lessen that. It's been about $30,000 a month.
Thought it was only 12.
That was the first 2 weeks.
Oh gosh.
do we get any form of report about what that's constituted, like how far behind we had gotten without the treasurer?
She gives a full two-page Word document with each bill, exactly what they're doing. But the last time cash was balanced was December,
Okay.
so we were that far behind. And all of the retirement accounts were screwed up during that time period, as well as all of our withholdings.
Okay.
We had accounts that were actually shut off. So, yes, which may come back to haunt us in a little while. We'll have to pay for that as well.
What account was that?
We didn't pay our dental or vision
No kidding.
for 3 months.
3 months.
So our account was shut off and it was buried in the treasury.
So this is,
account.
this is why I want to make sure we have a town administrator sooner rather than later, where we don't have a treasurer. So,
Well,
So, unfortunately, a town administrator wouldn't have done anything about that.
it's true, they
either.
wouldn't have seen it necessarily.
It was buried in the treasurer email. The email of termination came while our previous interim was here. Nothing was done about it. So we were just notified with a phone call. So we got the bills paid and our account reinstated, but during that lapse, we had no coverage. So if people had actually gone, we will be responsible for those bills.
For those claims.
For those claims.
Okay.
Okay. Back to the transfer.
All right, motion to approve the transfer as submitted.
second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Number 4, open/close the 6/4/26 annual town meeting warrant.
I'll make a motion to open the warrant.
Second.
Favor?
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do you want me to just run through what needs to be done on the warrant? Have you guys had time to go through it?
No, I'm looking through it now, so if you want to run through it.
So the warrant articles are in no particular order, because as stuff kept coming in, I just added, like, you can see new A, new B. So
Yeah.
I want to renumber stuff.
Right.
So they're in no order. They'll be reordered after we finish tonight. I'll put them in a proper order before I send them to legal. Because the school has requested that their stabilization transfer to make it for the roof be moved up and become a fiscal year 26 article. So that way, as soon as town meeting happens, they can schedule their roofer. So I'm going to put that up at the front. So what needs to happen is we need to put dollar amounts.
So can I ask a question
Yep.
procedurally around that? So I'm not quite sure I understand how the order matters,
So
because I mean, because we used to do the special prior to the annual for that purpose, right?
Yep.
Was to make it a 20, in this instance, make it a 26 versus a 27. How does that work where it's a single meeting?
Oh, just because when they changed the laws back in 2016 or 2020 maybe, you're allowed to do a special within your annual.
Okay.
So you don't have to do 2 warrants anymore, you just designate it as a.
Okay, as a special,
prior year
as a
article.
prior year article, okay. I just
So-
wanted to clarify for,
I like to keep them up at the front, so it's very clear to people,
that makes sense.
but you can do it within the same, only for annuals.
Got it.
And then obviously just to regroup everything so that way all the revolving fund articles are together, because right now they're all kind of spaced out.
Yeah, and I did have a question for the rest of the board is, did we, because I think it came up in the conversation around the pay for the ACO, was do we want to actually explore a revolving account for the ACO fees as well? And have a portion of the compensation come from citations? And other expenses, because we have issues like, you know, somebody neglects an animal and you've got to put it down, and there's a fee associated with that, you know, rather than having the town have to underwrite the bill on that, have that go back to the person that's actually responsible for the animal.
I mean, I think that's appropriate,
Yeah.
personally.
So I didn't know how hard it would be to add ACO to the other revolving
no.
accounts.
Yeah, I can put that in.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
talked to Deb about it, about the fines. She said that there was an animal that she had to put down and she was looking to get like the money back.
Back into,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that way it makes it more kind of equitable to the townspeople, so that's why I'd asked Karen to write one up
Yep.
relative to that. The second one that was my recommendation was just because we do have a couple of buildings that I believe are on town property, that there's stuff going back and forth. I know that we haven't made the determination yet whether, when, how, and with whom to take them down. And there may be, and there are opportunities to get state money for that work, but to me, it seems a safer move to have that money available and not spend it, and you can always reallocate it in a follow-on year, especially if we're taking it from free cash, so that we have the options to pursue dealing with those buildings, regardless of whether we get the state funding or not.
And I do want to just bring up, Michelle did ask me today if there was a fence around the roller rink. Do you know if there is?
I've asked multiple times to get fencing around it, but there is not.
She said that we needed to,
Wrap it in at least snow fence.
yeah, she said to reach
Post
out
it.
to Jeff Taylor and ask Jeff Taylor to make a recommendation. So I did that, and Jeff said that we needed a fence and we needed the fire department to put a red X on it ASAP.
Okay.
This came up weeks ago with the highway superintendent. I thought he did put a snow fence, but you don't think he did?
I don't think so.
Okay. Eric?
Yes,
So
Lori.
we already have money for demoing specifically the roller rink.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, we allocated money back.
It's like 8,000 in that.
Yeah.
8,000?
fiscal year
Okay,
25.
I thought you had rolled a bunch of the article funds
Oh, I thought that rolled,
previously.
okay, so we could use that for could we use that for the fence?
You can,
Well,
we call it demo Pine Lane roller rink, there's 7,845.
Or to demo it, whatever we need to do? Okay.
So you can use it for, pre-demo as well, which would be
Okay.
fence,
Yeah.
canvas ranking.
Yeah.
But yeah, but yes, we have that available, so we wanted to add money to that one, or we want to change it, or do another one that's specific to all town buildings.
Do you have another building that you have in mind that's a town building? I'm just curious.
I don't have one in mind, but I
Okay.
think there may be a couple that are either in tax taking or tax title that might or might not.
Okay.
But no, the only one I'm thinking of is the roller rink right now, but it always feels like something comes up mid-year,
Hmm.
so.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah, and our buy-in is 175 for the
That's the other.
the other half.
That's the other half.
But what's our increase? Did we get a July 1 increase?
It was, off the top of my head, 12% maybe? I think it might have been 12.7. That sounds right.
I know some communities are seeing 60% year over year, I mean, just crazy numbers.
Yeah, I think we were 12.7, we had 20 back in October.
October, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, do we know, have we been in contact with them? And again, this would be one of the first things I'd want like to get engaged on, quite frankly, is I'd like to understand, especially for a cooperative like that deals in municipalities, why a portion of the increase was the July 1 increase and another portion is October, or is October when we expect the increase?
That was the first time in their history they've ever done a mid-year increase,
Okay.
this past
It's off cycle.
October. And it had all to do with the weight loss
Yeah, the
injection
G-
drugs.
The GLP ones.
So they actually were teetering on bankruptcy. So they held a series of webinars for all of the towns that are part of the trust to make sure they understood what was happening, because they've never in history done
A
a
mid-year.
mid-year increase.
Yeah.
Normally they do the same increase as all the other
Insurance
places.
companies.
And at that time, the GIC, which is the state insurance pool, stepped in to see if anyone wanted to pop off and join the insurance pool with the GIC, and offered to let people allocate their, amortize their debt and all this other fun stuff. And the GIC offers subcar insurance for actually a slightly higher rate. We did reach out to Maya to see if there was any option, because they only came in right now with an 8.9% increase. But really what they're doing right now is they're trying to collect all the people who did bail off the trust. The trust lost a lot of people, some to the GIC, some to Maya. Maya kept their increase low right now to
Lure
most
people
likely
back.
grab a whole bunch of people, and they will have a higher price
Oh, yeah.
next year. We did see if we could get back, and we are blacked out for a full 3 years. So our only option would have been the GIC, which it would not have been a good choice for the employees.
And I know in Spencer, they're not covering the GLP-1 anymore, so are they still covering the drug, or not?
They are not, and the trust actually voted to go with a similar plan to what private insurances have, so it is a deductible plan now. So
Okay.
that was communicated. We're right now in the middle of open enrollment. It actually ends tomorrow. So during open enrollment, I did pass out everything to all the employees and retirees and let them know that your plan is changing. You have to kind of pick a new plan. They have deductibles now. We've always had co-pays since we joined the trust, but now you have a deductible. But that is sort of what kept the 12-point increase. They were originally expecting 17.
So the revolving account one can just go in with the other revolving accounts.
Yep.
So do you want a motion, do you want to add or not add the funding to raise a building? I mean, do we know what it's even going to cost to do the roller rink at this point?
Well, the tipping fees have almost doubled down where?
Well, that's why I'm asking the question. So, I
But
mean,
I
my
still-
suggestion would be to,
But I still think there's enough money in there to do the work. You just couldn't hire a contractor to do it. The tipping fees would not exceed the 7,800, I don't believe. But that's if the
Yeah.
highway department did the work.
right, and right now, we've got, I don't know that we've got sufficient staffing or
Well,
expertise
we
to
couldn't
take
do
it
it
down.
until the ground freezes anyway, according to the agreement.
Right.
So hopefully by then we will.
I think we could do, well, we're gonna have to do a fence in the meantime, until the,
But they do have snow fence at the highway department that could easily be put up.
okay.
We don't have a chain link fence to do it, but I don't think that's, I wouldn't want to waste the money on chain link fence, but I think the bigger issue is dealing with the property.
Okay.
So, I'm going to tell you, if the tipping fees have doubled, I still think maybe the number isn't 12,000, maybe it's another 6. I would put some more money aside to make sure we have enough to do it, and it doesn't turn into one of those things where we wind up having to not being able to execute it next year because we didn't set aside enough money to do it.
I think another 4,000 would be more than adequate, but I don't want to split hairs with you, but if you want 6 or 10 or 12,
I mean, I think
I was
we-
gonna
yeah.
say 5.
Well,
Yeah.
well, why don't
All that different
we put it on
numbers.
generically and we come up with the number for the town meeting, because the
Yeah.
number doesn't go in the article, so,
Yeah,
let's, 5
Yeah.
is fine, I'm not gonna fight over that, I just
Yeah.
think we
Yeah.
should
Yeah,
put
yeah.
some more
Something.
money in there,
Yeah.
right, to make sure that we can execute.
So do you want to put a whole new article to raise town buildings, or do you want to add to the demo on?
We could do it for, we could use language to add to the demo account for
the demo,
Pine Lane.
Add to the demo?
Yeah. I mean, I had wanted to put it in generically, so if something else came up like this unexpected in the middle of the year, that we would be covered, but if you're not comfortable with that, and I guess we
well, it's not
won't.
that I'm not comfortable, but I can't really think of anything. I can think of a lot of places that need to be raised on private property, right? But I can't think of anything on town. But not to say there isn't. You may be right, maybe there is something, but it's,
Okay.
that's certainly the biggest issue to be dealt with, though.
Yeah.
Do you want to go through each article and give your recommendations? And
Yeah,
I have to send this to legal tomorrow morning.
Right.
And then it has to go to the printer. As soon as it comes back from Michelle, we've yet again hit our deadline, so it's posted next week.
right.
What happened, Jeff? We were going to be more prepared this year.
Hope springs eternal. Saying this for 9 years.
At least we're consistent.
So,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that's why I was trying to go through the ones that weren't on there yet to see if we're gonna put them on there or not.
Well, and then in the end, because we still have some that are missing dollar amounts, and we are really gonna be short on the free cash of how much is actually in here, we should put a couple more placeholders in here, unless you just wanna let the rest of the free cash
No.
go back. So, I mean, we could, once we get to the end, because currently what's
Do we have a
on-
general stabilization or an OPEB one?
So we have an OPEB one, but we don't have a stabilization one, but we are still missing dollar amounts for, all the highway ones. We could pay down the debt, we could put a stabilization one, we could put a couple placeholders on here. But as it was sitting with some stuff missing, we only had allocated like $350,000. And granted, we're still missing, we were missing the final numbers for snow and ice, so that'll bump us up to like 500,000. And then we were missing the highway numbers, so we still had, like half to go.
Right. So,
We need some placeholders.
yeah, I mean,
So I would, again, I would like to put a significant amount towards our debt, if at all possible.
it doesn't make a lot of sense when you take a look at the amount of debt that we
I-
have and
I-
what portion of the budget it is.
I do get that what we're getting for interest is like just under what we're paying,
So-
but
so
it
you-
just, to me,
So I'm happy let's put both those articles on there and let the people decide.
sure.
Okay?
And we can
Let's.
also decide once we see how much money we actually have
Right,
left.
I mean,
Yeah.
so, because here's the thing, right, if you put it in stabilization, right, it's a wash on the money, but it also allows you to do it from like a long-term planning perspective, rather than just once you pay down the debt, if you had something catastrophic happen that we then have to address,
Mhm.
then we don't have that foundational money to start dealing with whatever that particular issue is, whether
Mhm.
it's,
Yeah, but I think it's a small number versus what we have in stabilization, but I'm not suggesting we spend all the money in free cash or stabilization to pay down our debt. We're gonna have quite a bit in there. What do we have in stabilization now?
Right now, we have 629,000 in general, and we have 99,687 in capital.
See, that's not really enough, though. I mean, we should be targeting closer to 10% of our operational budget for
For
stabilization.
general, yes.
Right,
Somewhere
so-
between 1 and 3 for capital.
Yeah, so we're pretty short in terms of what's in stabilization according to both what our policies say and what the state recommendations are.
So
It's
maybe we should take some of these articles off then, so that we can, like, the 83,000 for the stair chair, right? Like, that would put almost another 100,000 towards stabilization if we, right? So where do we,
You have to strike a balance though, right? I
I
mean,
get
and
it,
that's the
but-
whole reason to, that's the whole, and if we're not agreed on it yet, okay, and if we haven't had this
I just think-
conversation yet, don't start taking, this, let's not do a
I
redo
think we
of last
put it
year and
on
at the
a-
last hour, taking it all off, okay?
I get it, Beth, but it's just to your statement that we don't have enough in there. If we don't have enough in there, then maybe we're spending too much at town meeting. That's my point. So I'm okay with letting the voters decide.
Okay, great. So let's add the articles of general stabilization and the debt reduction, okay? And then we can make that decision at town meeting.
Right.
And then we have well, the petition has to go on whether we like it or not, so,
So I need a copy of that because I didn't get that.
so do we want to just, Sarah, it's your meeting, do you want to just go through and make the recommendations on the stuff on the warrant article for Lori's
Sure.
recommendation?
That's fine with me.
I have no idea.
We're gonna start with 1, 2, 3.
So I do have one question, Jeff. I don't see, did you guys take a vote on all of these articles also?
We have voted on 16 of the articles that were originally submitted back on March, whenever the warrant book is
Yep.
closed. We're waiting for, we waited for the last month for your guys' decision on what the dollar numbers are for the warrant articles. We have tomorrow night, we're going to vote on whatever the dollar numbers that you assign. If you don't assign anything, then we'll just leave it blank as a placeholder, until we get to.
So will you have their vote for
So they
the,
voted yes on everything that had a dollar figure.
okay,
Without a
She
dollar
has the
figure,
minutes of the meeting with the numbers.
Yep.
So,
without a dollar figure, they didn't vote. So,
and we did not do
Makes sense.
anything with citizen petitions or anything
Yep.
else. We did vote on the finance director thing
Yep.
and Karen's because it was a dollar impact.
okay.
yep. So I'm gonna put theirs in because I just didn't type them in there. I just figured I'd type them at the same time. But yeah, everything with a dollar figure, they voted yes.
Right, so I just make a quick comment. I've got to leave, but I wanted to make sure that on the budget, when we had the original preliminary, whatever it was, meeting, we seemed to be okay with a lot of the things, and we had two, and I mentioned it last week too, two changes. If we went back on the, it was the diesel, one of the utility ones, and the tax collector. They come in
Expenses.
With another one. I just wanted to make sure that you understand that, we had voted in those and all that, because I try not to be out of sync, but I'm just afraid that tomorrow we're still gonna be, unless I state my case here, because I have to leave.
Yeah.
So, but if there are any other questions, I was hoping you could just, you're already in warrant, so maybe let's roll those to the budget. So that was my thing, is that it's 14, and then we dropped 5 on the fuel from 50 to 45, because we all looked and said, price is not going to stay that high for another year and a half. So we said, all right, let's save 5,000. That's basically, so we can go either way, but we just said 50. We thought that was just sort of a ballpark figure. We're trying to cut down. So
Yeah.
be that as it may. The other point, not to take too much time, but we made this is a philosophical stand on the longevity clause within the library. When we actually went in and broke out all of the numbers, there was frustration with it. We know it doesn't mean anything, we're just recommending you probably continue with 1,500 if you thought that the rest of the town doesn't have a longevity clause. You know, the library trustees can do what they want, but at least they should have consulted with the select board advisory committee as well as before granting something, because it looks really bad going before a town meeting with everyone else not having a longevity clause, the library contract, the director having one. We understand the circumstances, but, so, we put 0 for the longevity clause. If they talk to us, we said, can't you just negotiate that into the contract as an additional salary increase, because that'll go towards her, you know, her retirement, you know, rather than the 1,500 each year doesn't add anything to her retirement, so that doesn't make any sense, so, but we didn't have that chance, so that's the guys decided, so. Just so you understand our reasoning on that, and we're not going to vote on the citizen petition, and then we're all strongly against taking that control away from the select board. We'll all state that individually at the town meeting. Just wanted to say that.
Okay.
And then the other question on the library, we submitted something a week ago Thursday, or 2 weeks ago. We haven't had a chance to go back and forth, but I just got the contract this afternoon. I don't understand the library director information, which you put in is a wage includes COLA or not. It says in the contract that it should be, whatever is stipulated is no less than the COLA. But it wasn't clear from what you submitted that included COLA, the final number, or not. And then she had this whole thing about transition with the assistant director leaving, the new director coming in. She wanted to keep the same salary for the assistant director, even though the new one's going to be hired less than that. He said that doesn't make any sense. So I feel as if they want to do anything from what the budget was originally submitted, they should depend it on the town floor and answer questions. We just didn't have enough time. We did it last minute. And I was really, I personally was concerned that they did not, even though we had gone through a couple of sessions with them, and I talked to them, and Tom had talked to them, that we had no inclination that things were being renegotiated or changed or shifted or whatever. So it was sort of like caught at the last minute with this situation where it could be changed at $4,000 or $5,000. We said, we still have enough information. We don't want to make a rush decision, so we'll debate it on the town floor. So we know what we submitted. Thank you.
Thank you for your work you put in.
Yeah.
And staying all night.
Well, and again, it's a communication issue, because, again, we don't have direct control over that, but we've worked for them for 9 years, and they should at least tell us a little bit about what's going on earlier in the procedure. They know what the process is, they've been through it every year. But to come in, like at the last minute after we've already approved everything, and everything was settled, and then, you know, they say, hey, we've signed a contract, it's different, blah, 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 and we didn't even know the contract was up. So it's just my personal opinion of things. But I think you talk to each one of them, we're going to have the same discussion. And I love everyone there, and I love the library, but
Yeah.
again, they frustrate me sometimes.
So speaking of which, one thing in the context of budget, and I don't know if you saw the email from Patty or not, is that she's looking to retire or semi-retire come July 1st, and that may impact, and this just, I think it came in last week, Jeff, so speaking
Didn't
of,
say it,
yeah, is that we're going to need to talk about structure with regards to that, and I don't know what kind of adjustment we need to make against this budget in order to accommodate that. So,
Well, we don't need a number tonight, right? We could, I know that Manzello had put in a quote a couple of years ago. But then I
But
think
we have a quote from the same folks that are doing some of our other work to provide that service for, I think, it was like $7,500 for the year.
Thanks, Jeff, good night.
$7,500 for the year.
But that doesn't put
but
someone
it's-
in the office,
But it doesn't
right?
put somebody in the office, right? So,
So we should start advertising for that.
yeah, I mean, what we would want to do probably is start by advertising for either a clerk or assistant assessor. We've called her an assistant or a assessor administrative assistant, I think is how her pay rate is. So we don't necessarily need an assistant assessor because it's basically an administrative assistant to the assessor. But we may want to get at posting out so that we can figure out, can we do it with an internal person and have her just train somebody to operate to the same level that she's been operating?
Yeah,
Or if we're gonna need to look for a service to do like half and half.
right. And we may end up probably cutting some of the office hours too, maybe that would be an option to help, but I don't know. I think we're gonna have a problem. That's a
Right.
whole nother issue.
So, so I don't know if, I don't know if we wanted, how we want to handle that, and I do want to make certain we've got the, did we put the revaluation on as a warrant article item, or is that, okay,
It's a warrant article.
good. Because that's not a recurring, I mean, it's recurring, but it's recurring every 5 years instead of,
Yeah, I think it's Article 14, it's for $9,900.
yeah, yep.
And the email we got today with the selectmen, from East Brookfield, is that $1,000 gonna have to go up?
Yes, and I talked to Jeff about it. She suggested $2,300 for next year.
Okay.
So change that to 2,300?
Yes, and Jeff knows about it, changed it on his. Yes, 2,300. That's what
I'm
he
running
said.
the main copy, that's why.
Yeah, okay, all right, good. I did send you I sent everyone the email to you saying that she suggested 2,300.
I mean, at that rate, what about the treasurer wage, right? What are we doing for that, Lori?
I think we increased that already.
Yeah, 82,000.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I mean, I'm not sure what to do. No one's applied.
Is our posting still up?
Yes.
But I don't think that's gonna get us through the year with the firm.
So the way it went with the firm is she did say once we were caught up, if we were still without, she would offer us a monthly rate. When I spoke with her last week, she was just about caught up to March, which would be 3 months worth of work. So she was optimistic. However, we need to make a decision on whether or not that would include or uninclude HR and payroll services. So I still have the clerk that we interviewed and chose on standby. The problem has been with all of this extra work and the amount that the firm costs. I have not brought her in because I personally don't have time to train her, and with the rate of the firm, I didn't want to have them doing it at $200 an hour. So after we had some payroll issues and we're having some timing issues, I am going to have to bring her in and I'm going to have to wing it because the clerk at my firm is ready to be done. So she does not want to process payroll for the town anymore. I don't have anyone else that will do it. She's going to stay on until I can have someone trained, and she will train the clerk, but she's ready to be done. So, so I'm going to work on that hopefully next week. So we have a lot going on here. So at this point, I guess we'll be needing to just cross our fingers.
Hope and pray.
Okay, so you've got that changed now then, for the payment in lieu of taxes.
Did you want to finish the stuff in the budget first, or do you want to go back
Yeah.
to the warrant?
I don't know, it's up to you guys, what do you guys want to do? We're jumping all over.
I know.
All right, Larry, you
All right,
take
so-
over here so we can get going.
Yeah.
It's 9:30,
For
let's go.
everything, Exactly, sorry, so let's go back to the warrant, so we're just gonna run through each article
Yeah, that's fine.
and give your recommendations. If you have a dollar amount, great, and if you don't, leave it as a placeholder. So Article New A is the bridge certification for the highway department, we put in 5,500. Everyone good with that one?
Mhm. So just go through them, and if we have a question, we'll
Yeah,
question it,
Perfect.
and then,
Article New B is the new revolving fund for the gas and plumbing inspector. We're gonna add the ACO in there too. Article number 1, standard. Article 2 is the operating budget. Article 3 is prior year bills. That's all of them. Article 4 is snow and ice wage deficit, which is currently at, literally just got it. It's like $52,000, I just had it a second ago. So that'll have to go on there. Article 6, Article 5 is snow and ice expense deficit, which is at $120,000. Article 6 is to supplement the operating budget for this current year. We're gonna leave it as a placeholder, and we'll see what happens after transfers. Article 7 is from the water department to transfer $40,000 from their surplus to their capital. Article 8 is the ambulance 27 expenses. They asked for $64,000. Article 9 is 27 ambulance wages. They asked for 304, 342.
Or that needs to be plus 3%.
Plus the COLA, yep.
And what did we land on, 3% or 2.8? What
At
was
the
it?
last
3.
meeting that you agreed on.
3.
Yeah,
That's what I
3.
thought.
I was good with 3 as long as the longevity didn't pass.
Oh, we're not gonna know that
Right.
until,
Right. So in the operating budget, it is up to 3, so which is what I had. So I'll add 3% to here. And Article 10 is the 27 EMS chief salary. They asked for 5508, I will add 3% to that.
okay.
Article 11 is ambulance placeholder in case they need 26 wages. Article 12 is a placeholder for 26 ambulance expenses. Currently, they're within budget, so they're moving right along.
Can I just ask you about Article 8? What does that mean?
Article 8,
What's the 64,000 for?
they, ambulance has to transfer from their receipt reserve account to fund their own expenses. So they have to do it as a warrant article.
Okay,
So they're just moving their own money.
okay, all right, makes sense.
Article 13 is to do fire department protective equipment. They asked for 25,000, so that would come from free cash. Article 14 is the reval article, 9,900, that would be free cash. Article 15 is to do the line painting for the highway department. I pulled this from the 26 article. I put in 9,000 because that's what we did last year, so I don't know if you want to leave it at 9 or if you want to leave it as a placeholder.
I think nine's good, and maybe we'll hear from them before the meeting, and we could adjust it then.
First.
Yeah.
Article 16 is to fund road reconstruction. We tend to do 25 every year.
Yeah.
Great. Article 17 is to do highway personal safety equipment. Same thing, I pulled it from last year, it was $1,200. Article 18.
Have we been doing that every year?
Every year,
Yeah.
$1,200
Okay.
since I got here.
Yeah.
I think it's boots and,
It's usually boots, they usually buy boots, safety glasses.
Vests.
They replace the eye wash stations, they use that First Aid
yeah,
company. They replace their first aid kits, and then it's like a couple other random things, and that's it,
Yeah, okay.
$1,200. Article 18 is the placeholder that we added to replace, repair and or replace highway equipment. We never discussed the dollar amounts. We can leave it as a placeholder or assign something if we had a Article 19 is the library maintenance and repair account they put in. They asked for $38,000. Article 20 is the municipal building repair account that we suggested. And this is the article we pilfered from the fire department, so it currently has their $6,200. Obviously, we need to increase that. We just need to come up with a better dollar amount.
Right, because, do we have Tantasqua online to finish the work over at the police station? Because I know those materials are still sitting down at the highway barn.
So he contacted me just a couple weeks ago and said that he just couldn't get there yet, but it's on his mind. He's going to get it done before he retires. So I think we're looking at it in the fall.
Okay. So,
So we just need to pick a better amount.
yeah, because we didn't ever get any quotes, I don't think, for
So-
the highway roof.
No, so
Well, I did talk-
This would be for all buildings too.
But I did talk to Kyle. He did have someone out for the roof, and it was a couple of the ice brackets that was leaking. It wasn't the whole roof. A couple of the brackets that stopped the big ice sheets from coming out needed replaced, and he said it was very minimal. So that
Okay.
was great news.
Yeah,
It's
okay, so
not
has
the
that work
whole-
already happened, or it needs to happen?
That I don't know. But that was minimal, and he felt confident that if he got up there with a tube of silicone, he could handle that, or even if we got someone out to replace some of the brackets. But I think the bigger issue is one of the Modine heaters. I think they need servicing. I don't think the Modine heaters are bad, but
So do we
I
want to
think-
round this up to $10,000 so that the funds are there if we need to do some building maintenance on buildings other than the town hall?
Yeah, 7,500, 10,000, somewhere in there, but I think.
I mean,
it's
if we
a-
have 6,200 identified with the fire department, right? I would say,
Oh, yeah, okay, so,
so.
Yeah, so 10,000.
So I'm thinking 10,000, because that would leave us another 3,800 for,
yeah. Because the
Odds and
roof
ends.
is, the roof is probably $400 to $600,
right,
but the Modine heaters, servicing them and getting them,
could be a
so
good, could be another.
2,500.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think rounding it up to 10 was,
all right, so let's go 10 on Article 20.
All right, Article 21 is the chairlift. We currently have in the exact dollar amount from the proposal.
So then, does that proposal include any type of contingency?
So that proposal, it literally can't be used, so I just used the dollar amount from it, so they'd have to go back, it needs to be sealed bid. The proposal from that company, they're demanding money at certain intervals, so they can't even be considered the way it's written.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't even think their dollar amount would stand anyways, so we wanted to just,
So I would want to put a 20% contingency on anything that we can't, especially if it's a quote that we can't use, just because if you're putting something like that on a warrant article and the market moves at all, or there's any type of change and, you know.
setting it up for failure
you're-
right from
yeah,
the start. I
Yeah,
get that,
so I would put something along the lines of,
but- So at 20%, you're up to 100,000.
yeah, basically I would say 100,000, yeah, because it's 90, it comes out like 99 or 98. So,
I'm a no for the chairlift, but we can keep it,
I'm a no also.
let the voters decide, but I'm a no.
and so you're aware, the advisory board did not vote on it. They were under the impression it was being removed, so they chose not to vote.
How long has the money been sitting there?
In the chairlift article?
Yeah.
We returned all that last year.
Oh, it did, yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought, and then I was wondering how this got,
So the grant writer proposed a grant for this. So there's a potential for an APA grant, but nothing has been confirmed. From what my understanding, it's not even actually in process yet. But if we do
Yeah, that-
not get the grant, this would be the dollar amount that is associated with the project. If we do end up getting the grant and we scrap the chairlift, we could use the ADA grant for something else, ADA applicable.
Yeah, as long as
So
it's
who-
it's a
Yes.
qualifying project.
So who put this article on? The grant writer?
But we can use the chairlift as an eligible project to apply for the grant.
Yep.
And then so long as it hits one of the things that's identified on the self-assessment, then we're okay,
Right.
so.
I think we put that 83,000 back to its stabilization or
It would technically be coming from free cash, so.
or free, yeah,
yeah.
so it wouldn't come out. So do we want to take a vote on this, whether it stays on the warrant or not? Or do you want to?
I mean, the town is, I hate to put it this way, the town has approved it once. I think if we take it off the warrant, it looks like we're not listening to the original town meeting decision to put it on there, even if we didn't execute
Can you
it.
just tell me the history behind the other one that was there and then nothing happened? And how much, that was like 80,000,
So it was,
wasn't
it was $60,000.
60,
It
yeah.
was voted just prior to COVID. We had a contractor who said that they were gonna do it, and then they ghosted us and went out of business during that time period. So they were up in New Hampshire. In fact, I think Al Jones door knocked them at one point before we gave the money back.
Yeah, and then we ended up, after that was a failure, we added like $90,000 to it and called it an elevator.
Because they were gonna go after a grant and never actually wrote
Yeah.
the grant.
So it was a total of like 150,000 when it was all said and done, and then it was to be an elevator, and then it was just done.
It wasn't actioned. I think it was during the transition from Kelly, because Kelly was trying to work with the grant with Kathy, who was the grant writer at the time, to get either an earmark or to do the grant writing. And I think when she turned over suddenly, the project got dropped and Ron never picked it up.
And then we just decided, let's just return all the money. Now it's been like renamed twice, and
Right.
just all this money is held up to do nothing, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, so you want to put it 100 and let the voters decide? Is that
Yeah.
what?
Because they've told us once that they wanted it.
Yeah, but at a much smaller number, but.
Well, with the way
Now it's doubled,
the way
yeah.
that inflation is
Yeah.
going, that's the same number, only 7 years later. If you do the math.
All right, so Article 22 is the placeholder for OPEB. Article 23 is to fund the other half of the Hampshire Insurance Trust buy-in, $175,000. Article 24 is to.
We're gonna get questions on the total cost of $250,000 will be spread over 2 years if you add, how much did we do last year?
175. We did half of it last year, this is the other half.
Right,
It was 350, wasn't it?
I was gonna say, that must be 350, is that a typo?
Yep.
Okay, because I was gonna say 175 times 2 does not equal 250. I'm tired and it's 9:40 at night, but the math wasn't mathing,
I was trying
sorry.
to catch all my typos yesterday before I resent this, but
Yeah, the math didn't math just then, so,
there we go.
Okay.
24 is moving the roof stabilization money to an actual article so they can do the roof. And they're starting right as soon as school gets out in June. 25 is to amend the personnel bylaw to add executive assistant, finance director, and mechanic. Article 26 is just the standard PEG money, and that comes from the PEG account. Article 27 is.
you mind holding on just a second, and I'm sorry to slow this down. Do we want to take a look at it, and do we want to just leave it as the assessor assistant for Patty's job, or do we want to put in an actual formal assistant assessor that's a step in between what like an administrative assistant and the assessor would be?
I think I'm good with Patty's position based on the contracts we have, hiring the professionals, but
Okay, I'm just checking. So, thank you, I'm sorry.
27 is just the expenditure limits for the revolving funds. 28 is the battery zoning bylaw from planning. 29 is zoning bylaw for the ADUs, also from the planning board. And then we started citizens petitions. 30 typed exactly how
The way
they
they're
came,
submitted.
with typos and extra
Everything.
zeros and all sorts of fun stuff. So 30 is longevity, 31 is longevity, 32 is the firearms, 33 is Quabog Street to discontinue as a town way. 34 is adopting a bylaw about public hearings. 35 is a bylaw to not schedule meetings on the same night as another board. 36 is setting up a citizens review committee. 37 is town-owned vehicles, displaying lettering. 38 is a commission on disability. And then I will add the newest one as the last. And then I will add the placeholders that we decided: pay down debt, transfer to stabilization. I had one more request for a new article, and that was if we would consider putting possibly $20,000 or $25,000 towards the 250th event.
How much?
$20,000 or $25,000. We did $50,000 for the 350th event.
50,000?
We did.
Where did that money go?
Free cash, well, we spent it on the 350th.
Well, on what?
And the 350.
I know, but what was, I
Oh,
can't
we had-
even imagine where 50,000 went.
We paid for parades,
Really?
all the events leading up to the 350th. I mean, Jean put on quite an event, basically the whole summer.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a series of events.
Yeah, so she did an egg hunt. So basically the whole year of the 350th, she put on a series of events. The Cultural Council was just hoping to get some money towards, to go towards the 250th, even if it was a much smaller amount. I suggested that amount because it was half of what we did for the 350th. They have quite a lineup of stuff scheduled. They were just hoping for some money to put towards it. And they are also scheduling basically like a summer long of 250th events, ending with the large.
I'm just taken back by the number. I didn't realize there was that much, but I
Yeah.
don't know what goes into it either, so.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were hoping just for some to be added on.
Okay.
Beth, what do you say? I want to hear your opinion before I weigh in.
I understand the precedent that we're basing it off of. If this was a year where we had no free cash, I'd probably say no. I'd say where we have a sufficiency of funds, and it is the 250th anniversary of the country, I would say 25 makes sense.
Yeah, no, old conservative me, I'm gonna agree with that.
So, but yeah, I would support that going on.
So the only thing that I personally didn't vote yes on this is the chairman.
Okay?
Same.
Okay.
So I guess we'd say the Board of Selectmen doesn't support, but we leave it on?
Yeah, sure.
Usually we'll do like 2 to 1.
Yeah.
Doesn't support
Yeah.
2 to 1.
Two to
Yeah, I
one,
think you
yeah.
should have your yes in that, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't think, yeah, I agree. I mean, town meeting funded it once.
Right.
So they said
I
yes
I
once.
don't feel comfortable taking it off where town meeting has said yes.
Yeah.
At least once, maybe twice, depending on how you count it.
All right.
So-
All right.
Everything else, you guys are all,
Yep.
Yeah, we're good.
okay? And sorry, now we have to do the budget really fast. There's only a couple things that you guys didn't already do.
Okay.
So the COLA is on here at 3%, so as long as we're all still good with that, we can leave the COLA. And then the only other things were Advisory board voted to change municipal diesel fuel. We had originally all agreed on 50,000. They think 45,000 will be okay. They want to know if you'll agree to do 45,000 instead of 50.
I think I'm good with it based on the minimal amount of help we have at the highway right now, and it doesn't look like there's a ton of work scheduled, but 5,000 bucks is not, but I am reluctant based on
Just the
diesel
prices
fuel
right
at
now,
almost,
it's just
I think we're
insane.
paying
It's
like probably
almost $6.
$5.50 a gallon,
We
so,
had increased it from 32,000 up to the 50, and they want to bring it down to 45. I didn't really understand the reasoning, but,
I think we're splitting hairs, but you know what, I'm gonna support the advisory board.
Yeah, I mean, it's not worth fighting with them
Sure.
over it because it's all a
Right.
crapshoot about where the fuel costs are gonna stay.
Stay, go, yeah.
The other one was the tax collector expenses. We had all approved the 12,500. They spoke with Brenda and she gave justification for the $14,000, which was the increase in postage. And they
Oh,
wanted
yeah,
to-
we questioned the
Yep.
postage
So they
thing,
did
yeah,
meet with
okay.
her and she was able to provide justification for the $14,000.
I mean, if she was able to provide it to the
Yep.
advisory board, I'm not gonna second guess it.
All right, and they all voted yes.
Same.
Okay. And then the last one that was different is the library.
Library.
So, as Jeff said, they removed longevity, and then Brenda came in with a new contract, an email with new contract numbers and different start date for the assistants, which changed the dollar amounts. So she said that the library director contract will now be $73,421.60, which is what we had all agreed to, but there is some confusion on whether or not that contract amount that she's providing us includes or needs to have included COLA. So the COLA wasn't added by us, but now we're confused on whether or not it needs to have it added on. The other question,
But in that contract, I thought they had I don't think, didn't they have either a 4 or 5%?
so that's what we were confused on, is we thought that they added the COLA in already, but now it doesn't appear that they did, because we read the contract that she is currently working off of, and it says her increases are based on performance review, and she'll be given at least the federal COLA. So I believe the 73,421 that she provided us needs to have the COLA added.
Added.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna add 3% to that, like I did everybody else's.
Yeah, I would do
because
that.
That is the way it's reading. The only other question was the assistant position we had approved at 44,000. She's now saying it needs to be at 45,262.21. The 44,000 we had approved was actually a decrease from this year. So she's actually just asking to come back up to almost what we're at this year. Because
Well,
there's-
45,262.21 was this year's budget.
Yep, so she is wanting to level fund instead of decreasing because she said there's actually gonna be an overlap between the new person and Julia. So she's asking just to level fund instead of decreasing to 44.
Okay.
So if we're good with that, I'll change that.
What are your thoughts actually budgeting to allow the overlap?
It's
I mean,
$1,500.
yeah, at this point.
That's all right.
All right, and then those were the only things the library wanted changed, but then as Jeff stated, the advisory board chose to remove the $1,500 of longevity. You all had approved it. So,
I'm personally not good with longevity based on the rest of the town not getting it. Like, so, nothing personal, but I'm just not, that's my position. I don't understand the longevity.
so it is.
I guess the challenge is it's in the contract. If it's in the contract, it's in the contract.
It is in her contract.
But if the town doesn't fund it at town meeting,
And her contract does say, subject to town meeting appropriation for her whole thing. What Jeff and the rest of advisory board had said, and they were trying to get around to meeting with her or the trustees, they weren't able to connect. They're not opposed to the overall dollar amount of her salary plus the longevity. They just want it put in her salary line, not as a separate line item called longevity. Because they don't think it's fair because nobody else is getting it. They understand it's a part of her dollar figure she receives as salary, but they don't think she should be receiving it as longevity.
It's inherently unfair.
But I mean, it's actually a benefit to the town to give it to her as longevity if they're
Then
gonna
you don't
include
pay
it.
it as, because then you don't pay it as
Yeah.
part of the pension.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
you
not
don't
paying any
contribute,
assessment
yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
So,
So personally, I'm just not in favor of it based on fairness throughout the community, and I'm just gonna be consistent. But I will say Brenda does a great job, and
so it's up to you guys. Advisory has removed it. They're at 0. You guys have it still funded at 1,500.
I will say, every time I stop at that library annex, I could spend hours there with the things she's doing.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Like, what,
Well, and the other thing is I hate to put it this way, that this is one of those places where I understand and have some empathy for advisory's feelings on this. But all it's gonna constitute is us writing down $1,500 on the town hall floor.
Oh, I agree.
Right, I mean, the likelihood of,
we'll let the voters decide, just,
I mean, we can zero it in order to support the advisory committee, but it's unlikely to stand, let's just put
Right.
it that way.
Well, and that's the thing, we've paid it the last 2 years. We've funded it in the budget the last 2 years, and that's just because I have 2 years sitting in front of me. I don't know how many years before that we've paid it. Definitely at least one more year before that, because her contract is
3 years.
3
It's
years,
3
it's
years.
24, 25, 26, and it's in there.
Right.
So this is the year we're gonna make a stand, and,
I would actually recommend to advisory to just put it back in there, but that's me talking because of exactly what you just said.
I think it was actually 5 to remove.
What's that?
It was unanimous
Is it unanimous to remove?
to remove, yes.
Mostly because of the communication format or just because of the fairness aspect?
It was the fairness aspect. They didn't want to support any longevity. So,
Okay.
well, that's where I'm at.
yeah.
But to Beth's point, right, $1,500 there, $1,500 for the last thing, right, out of
Yeah.
$11.5 million, right, we're gonna squabble over
Make a
$3
stance
grand.
on the longevity,
Yeah.
come on. Come on.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing, is like,
get
it's not the hill to die
I
on,
get it.
because,
No,
because.
and I'm not for it, but I just think it's kind of pointless.
But I'm not
like,
for it, because I'm not for it for the whole town, that's,
Yeah,
So it's really up to decide, do you want to go in with the exact same number in the budget as advisory, or do you want to differ by $1,500?
I'm fine agreeing with advisory, just, I just wish everybody would understand what's,
yeah,
how
I
it's
think
gonna shake out.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I've said it all along that I want to be lockstep with advisory for the amount of work they put in, and so I'm gonna
We'll go with the
contradicting
zero,
it, but
even though it's gonna get funded. We'll put a 0 there.
Okay. All right, those were the last of the questions. So even with the couple changes that I'm gonna have to make, I mean, we still had about $40,000 of excess capacity.
Which actually doesn't stink going into town meeting.
No, it really doesn't, because we're 2 rounds away from finishing the state budget, so, or 1 round away from finishing the state budget, so that's when we'll
And
actually get our real number.
And it typically winds up a little bit higher than that early planning number. so.
Yeah, and I didn't even put in the crazy number that they give us, which is incredibly high, which most towns are like, okay, that's the number I'm gonna use to
Yeah,
somehow
no, you
balance my budget, I don't even waste my
they
time.
get fooled with that, yeah.
because then I just have to drop everything down, and I'm like, oh, we have $100,000, and we actually don't, so.
Right.
um,
But if we're $40,000 under, that's, I
Mhm.
mean, if you're going in plus or minus 50, you're usually okay.
Right, because I mean, that's the super conservative new growth number, and,
Right.
you know, it's conservative everything.
Well, Lori, I have to say thank you for all your work because you sure made our job easier this year.
You are welcome, and are you all okay with me contacting Michelle directly tomorrow
Please.
morning?
Yes.
That way I can get the stuff back from her since we're tight on time.
Speaking of contacting Michelle directly, because I know you guys, I know I want to get out of here as well. I did have some folks approach me about the mowing situation around town. I have drafted some documents that, if reviewed by town council, and I can send y'all copies of it since we're discussing it now, that basically would set up a volunteer program, policy, and waivers, so that if we are in a bind and need the help of the community, that we'd have a mechanism for doing that. But I wanted to at least raise it since the issue came up literally within 48 hours, I think it was, just about of this meeting. We could actually get a policy on the books that would allow it along with the appropriate releases. But it would just, it just would need, it would need town council review, but I drafted it using, you know, open source capability, so.
I'm totally good with that, and I just want to say that I received a call or a text message on Saturday from a local landscaper asking if my son would be willing to team up with him to mow the common. And I said, that would be great, but I think the highway department will get it done. But that was the concern, liability, right? And then we did have a resident mow the common, and like, that's great. And that's what we need, but the liability end is the big thing, right? Like, so if you're willing to do that, I'm totally good
Yeah,
with.
because I drafted some documents,
because
because I don't want us to have to pay full price to draft it, and it's
Yeah.
really not
Yeah,
rocket science.
Yeah, and then I received a call today from a member of the rec committee asking if they could volunteer to help out down at Lewis Field. So I said, as soon as I can bring that up at the town select board, I will get back to you. So that's
So-
great. If you
so
get that done,
I
you will
drafted,
be,
I drafted some documents, I can send them, I'll send them to both of y'all and Michelle.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I
that's
didn't
fine.
want to reach out to town council without talking to the two of you first.
I think it's
Her only
totally,
concern was the liability situation.
And the only thing we need to do to alleviate the liability situation is to have a formal policy and to have, and to
Yeah.
have waivers
Yeah,
that people
and-
can sign.
Yeah,
so the rec committee member that I spoke to said that there's a bunch of volunteers on the rec committee that are willing to help out, but they didn't want to get into a situation with liability. So that's great. I can get back to them tomorrow and let them
Yeah.
know we're going to have
So if we can
a
put it-
policy and a
Yeah.
waiver.
Yeah.
Rec members don't actually need the waiver, they're town employees.
Well, yes
Oh,
and
really?
no.
They're appointed town employees. I have my rec committee members in all my other towns. We actually have a mower for
Yeah.
the rec department in other towns.
So,
and
so
they
long
mow.
as long as we define it as part of their role, like, for example, and this is where it gets like really tricky, right? We could define other duties as assigned on every one of our
Mhm.
appointed
yeah,
boards, being mowing and maintenance, and hypothetically, you know, if somebody from any one of the boards wants to help, they could, right? The challenge is that if you get into the details on the law, like, I think with rec committee, it's really easy to make the case it's under the
Right.
purview of that committee, so, and we'd have to reach out, in your other towns, have they cleared it with their insurance company that rec
Yeah.
committee is covered for that?
Yeah, we've bought them a lawnmower. We have the cemetery commissioners do it too.
Yeah, so that's
I
where.
think that solves a big problem.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, and I guess the question would be is for rec committee, we appoint them, so if we said, hey, anybody who's on rec committee can do this.
But I think the waiver is good too, the liability
Right.
waiver. I
So,
think that
yeah.
that protects the town.
Yeah, So I think the safer thing would be to just have a uniform policy, because that
Yeah.
way if somebody from library wants to help mow Lewis Field, they're covered, because.
Perfect.
Because if it's just rec committee, then that can do Lewis Field, and if somebody from another board wants to help with Lewis Field, they're not necessarily
Or
covered.
even if they're not on a committee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Do you want to have our next agenda?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
hopefully
next
we'll
week.
have it by then,
Maybe
yeah.
from today.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
fine.
by-
She's pretty quick.
Is there anyone besides Michelle that it should go to, or no?
No, just send it to Michelle. She'll,
Forward it to whomever?
yeah, whoever.
I didn't even get it in the Word, it's all still in Copilot.
So we good?
Yep.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All there.
Aye. Lori, thank you again very, very much.
You're welcome.
Did a great job
Thank
and
you.
You're
very
welcome.
much appreciated.
Please sign the